darklings, lightlings, hybrids, and everyone in between. How are you? So in my tag, my Tarot in Wonderland, I said I was going to do like a fairy tale themed tag once a week. I'm changing that to once a month. Um, it's just a lot with my internet connection and all right now. And I also want to do other things with Halloween coming up. Samhain, yes. Oh, favorite time of the year. I smell it in the air. I feel it in the breeze. It is coming. Yes. So I had this brilliant idea. From now up until Samhain, I would love to do witch lore in each state in the United States up till Halloween. So thought you guys might enjoy that. And also I just want to say don't come for me. I know us witches have to deal with those stigmas of being evil and eating children and all that bull crap. But I'm just the messenger, okay? So don't go down in the comments. Witches don't do that, Courtney. No. I know. It's just stories, so enjoy it. Alrighty. Today I'm going to start off with Alabama, the place that I am in, and I have two really spooky, interesting stories for you about witches. And also, I'd like to add that for those who were interested in the history of like the Salem witch trials and stuff, you're really gonna love the second story. The Witch of Hines Road from Gadsden, Alabama. Gadsden is a city in Etowah County, Alabama, located on the Coosa River, 56 miles northeast of Birmingham. Its population is 35,224 people as of 2020. This place played a huge role in the Civil War and a huge role in Alabama's industrial power. It attracts tourists to their park and camping grounds with a beautiful waterfall, but something more sinister dwells in this place on Hines Road. A legend is told of a witch who lived in a hut by a pond at the bottom of the holler on this road, and she had a hellhound as a familiar with fiery eyes and sold her soul to the devil. All legends say that she used to kidnap children, but there are two versions of what she would do with these children. One account says that she would tie them up and bathe in their blood, like a country backwoods Countess Bathory. Others say she tied them up and threw them in the pond as sacrifices. Her hellhound would be conjured to protect her property and make sure that nobody would disturb her. The townspeople became sick of their children going missing, tracking her down and burning her house down with her inside. Legend goes that she and her hound haunt that road to this day. If you research, there is a foundation of a house on this road by the pond at the bottom of the holler, and there was in fact an elderly lady that lived there with a large black dog. So, true or not, I'll leave that up to you to decide. This next one is really interesting, and I had no idea that this had taken place, but I suspected. I really didn't think that the witch trials ended with Salem. You don't just have these superstitions and poof, oh, I don't believe in it anymore. So I figured there was more persecutions, but I found one here in Alabama. Abigail Abercrombie in Russell County, Alabama. Russell County has a long history in Alabama, described as a barbaric land in old times. Sad history of natives who died seeding the land that created the county. Also, one of the state's most known educational institutions resides there. Everyone knows about the Salem witch trials, where many were accused of witchcraft. Around 200 people and an estimated 30 were found guilty and 19 hung. What people don't realize is the trials and the persecution of witches didn't end there in Salem. 135 years later, after the Salem witch trials in Russell County, Alabama, at that time a very rural and woodsy area, it really was just out in the middle of nowhere, still inhabited by the Creek natives as well. Around 1832, this place got their first governed seat, but not incorporated until 1833. Few white men lived there at that time, but one of the earliest was a man named Claymore, who had a large plantation named after him in 1828. Located around the Chattahoochee River, which I've swam in, now known as Brickyard Road, where the name is still used today through the plantation, is much smaller. According to the historian John T. Smith, who wrote the book Heritage of Russell County, Alabama, a witch was hung in 1828, and there is evidence of her being buried in an unmarked grave locally. The story goes, at the Claymore plantation, sickeningly, a man named Abercrombie oversaw the slaves of the plantation and married a young woman named Abigail. He died mysteriously shortly after their marriage. Everyone grew concerned over Abigail because this was the third man she had married who ended up dead. Also, after Abigail arrived in Claymore, all of the cats mysteriously disappeared. It isn't certain if she did something to them or if they just left. Old Man Claymore was upset that his overseer, Abercrombie, died. He began an investigation on Abigail's past, revealing odd things about her. That at her previous homes, all cats would disappear there as well. She had no record on her childhood, just of seemingly appearing one day out of nowhere. She made little children forget about bad things that would happen to them. She sounds good to me. I mean, she offs a slave overseer and she helps little kids forget their traumas. Like, let her live. Old Man Claymore told his evidence to the neighboring plantations, all deeming her a witch. This land being so new and rural, it was lawless still, so Old Man Claymore sentenced her to death and to have a vertical grave. The vertical grave was supposed to stop the witch from returning for vengeance. A superstition or like a ritual, I'm not sure, but I know in lore there's a lot of stories of witches returning or cursing them before dying. And I meant returning after dying. Yeah, you know what I mean. Chose a hanging tree and dug a vertical grave underneath. Abigail was hanged and left to swing over that grave for 3 hours, as all the townspeople crowded around that tree with torches to witness the death of the witch. It is said that when they went to cut her rope, they were interrupted by fire shooting from the sky and burning the rope. Her body dropped into the grave, and they covered it up. The townspeople and Old Man Claymore took this fire sign as evidence of God's approval of what they did with the witch. On Claymore's deathbed, he ordered an iron fence to be placed around her grave as a reminder of how a witch should be dealt with. Later, a fence was found under an oak tree at this location, like in modern times, on Brickyard Road, on what used to be Old Man Claymore's plantation. So those were my spooky witch legend stories for this week. And tell me in the comments what state you want me to do next, because I'm going to try to do all of them, and maybe even Alaska and South America too. And I just think it's great. I also want to mention that I live right next door to Abbeville, Alabama. And Abbeville has a witch story I probably should have included, but I'll go over it really quick. Oh, she is known as Huggin' Molly, and that is because she goes after children at dark time, but she doesn't hurt them. She'll hug them, screaming in their ears, and scare them into going home and staying off the streets. And the story goes the reason she does this is because when she was alive, she lost her child when he went out to play one night in the street. So she started frightening the kids in her long black robes and dresses with her witch hat and some say a cloak, but she stalks the streets at night in order to get the kids off and protect them, which I think is nice. Like, way to go, Huggin' Molly. If you're ever in Alabama, I was just there not long ago. They even have a restaurant inspired by her, named after her. So check it out. Also, my books, Finding Destiny, Bloodline Saga, and Accepting Fate Bloodline Saga, you can read it free on Kindle Unlimited. Very much appreciated. And I love you guys. I will see you next time.